Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise, get you the real insights, make sure you're, truly plugged in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today, we are plunging headfirst into WWE Friday Night SmackDown, specifically show number 1354. That was July 4th, 2025.
Right. A holiday show packed with action.
Exactly. And our info, it's coming straight from reports on the ground,
Yeah.
capturing the action, the atmosphere, and honestly, some pretty intense backstage stuff, too.
Well, what really jumps out, I think, is just how much happened. Storyline progression, big announcements, all crammed into this one SmackDown.
For sure.
So our mission really is to sift through it all, pinpoint the biggest developments, the real curveballs, and what this could all mean down the line for WWE.
And yeah, you can already see those threads forming, can't you? Especially with the Bloodline saga, which is just constantly shifting.
Oh, constantly. Volatile is the word.
And then you had major challenges thrown down, big moves in the women's tag division. It all went down live in Pittsburgh. Place was buzzing, apparently. About 13,500 fans there.
You could feel that energy, even reading the reports.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where do we even start? Maybe before the show even started.
Yeah, the pre-show stuff, that was wild.
Right. So Solo Sikoa arrives, his usual style, the white stretch limo.
Admittedly stylish, yeah.
But then, bam, Jacob Fatu just storms the limo, tries to physically pull Solo out through the window, throwing punches like crazy.
It was just immediate violence. Like 0 to 60 before the opening bell even rang.
No kidding.
And if you step back and look at that, this wasn't just like a random brawl. This feels calculated.
How so?
Well, think about it. It's a very public, almost gangland-style assertion of power by Solo. Or maybe against Solo, initially by Fatu here.
Yeah.
No, wait. Fatu attacks Solo. So Fatu making a huge statement. But it instantly frames a whole bloodline conflict differently.
Okay.
It's like Fatu is saying, I'm not waiting for the ring. It's raw, it's personal, and it immediately sets this dangerous, unpredictable tone for the entire night. It's about who controls the narrative, who strikes first.
And Fatu wasn't finished there. Later on, we saw him backstage, right? Confronting Nick Aldis.
Yeah, the GM, the guy who makes the matches.
And Aldis, he didn't mess around. He sets up a tag team match for Fatu, teams him with Jimmy Uso.
Against 2 members of Solo's bloodline.
Exactly. And this is where things got really interesting because the reports confirmed something huge, the bloodline. They've got backup.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Yeah, reinforcements in the form of the next son of WWE Hall of Famer Haku.
Ah, yes. Hikuleo from New Japan.
That's the one, his youngest son. He just debuted, last week at Night of Champions 2025?
Right. And now he's officially part of this. He's been given the name Tama Tonga.
Tama Tonga. Okay.
And yeah, he's the, quote, little brother of Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. Little being relative, of course. The guy's huge, 203 centimeters. What's that, like 6'8"?
Wow. Yeah, he's massive.
And Solo Sikoa himself put out this video message, basically saying, this isn't the bloodline anymore. He said it's something much stronger and more dangerous.
So a complete rebranding almost.
Pretty much. With Tama Tonga officially in, Solo declared his family is now complete. It's not just adding a member. It's Solo reshaping the faction, consolidating his power, making it his version of the family.
Which leads us straight into that main event then. High stakes. Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso versus JC Mateo and Solo Sikoa.
A really intriguing matchup on paper.
And the result, Fatu and Uso actually got the win. Jacob Fatu pinned JC Mateo.
Yeah, a big win for them, considering the circumstances.
But, like you always say with the bloodline, the real story often happens after the match.
Absolutely. And this was no exception.
So what went down? It sounds like it solidified this darker direction you mentioned.
It really did. So Fatu, fresh off the win, he tries to put Solo through the announcer's table. A classic bloodline statement move.
Right. Turnabout is fair play.
But the newcomer, Tama Tonga, he immediately intercepts, makes the save for Solo.
Okay, the new guy proving his loyalty.
And then, almost perfectly timed, Tonga Loa appears, joins Solo and Tala. Suddenly, it's 3-on-1. And the show ends with them delivering a devastating triple powerbomb to Jacob Fatu, right through the announcer's table.
Wow. So Fatu gets taken out after winning the match?
Exactly. It's not just revenge, it's a statement.
Yeah.
A unified show of force from Solo's crew. They're basically saying, we are the power now, stand against us, even if you're family, and this is what happened. It's brutal.
So that image, that 3-on-1 beatdown, what does that really tell us about where things stand? Is Fatu just completely isolated now, or maybe does this make him the ultimate underdog hero?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It's-
It definitely paints Fatu as the outsider now. He's standing against this really unified, ruthless front led by Solo.
Yeah.
So for the story, it sets up a very clear dynamic. It's less internal family squabble now, maybe, and more like an external war. Fatu versus the new, more dangerous bloodline. He could definitely become that sympathetic figure trying to tear it down.
Okay, fascinating stuff. Let's shift gears a bit from that raw family drama to, well, royalty. The opening segment of the show.
Ah, yes, the king.
King Cody Rhodes, fresh off his King of the Ring win, makes his entrance. Big reaction, obviously. Everyone waiting to hear what the American Nightmare has to say.
Always a big moment when Cody has the mic.
But he doesn't get long. Randy Orton comes out, his opponent from the King of the Ring final.
The legend killer himself.
And Orton does something interesting. He actually admits he hesitated to use the punt kick on Cody in that final.
Which is a huge admission from Orton.
Right. He then says he respects Cody for pulling the trigger himself when it counted. And then Orton looks ahead to SummerSlam.
Yeah, this was interesting.
He lays down this challenge, but it's more than that. It's like a prediction or promise for Cody.
Yeah.
He tells Cody, beat John Cena at SummerSlam.
Which is already huge.
And then go on to WrestleMania and reclaim the undisputed WWE Championship.
So Orton is basically mapping out Cody's path to the top. What do you make of that? It feels significant. Less like taunting, more like endorsement.
It does feel like that, yeah, like a vote of confidence.
Exactly. It adds this whole other layer to their story. Orton, the guy known for taking out legends, is now kind of pushing Cody towards that ultimate goal.
Yeah.
It says a lot about Orton's respect, sure, but also about how WWE sees Cody. Like, this is the path for the face of the company.
Right.
And it instantly makes that Cena match at SummerSlam feel even bigger. It's not just a match. It's a necessary step on this specific journey that Orton just spelled out. Huge pressure, but also a massive endorsement.
But of course, things rarely stay simple in WWE, just as that moment sinks in.
Here comes Drew McIntyre.
Yep. Predictably comes out mocking both Rhodes and Orton, tries to, stir the pot between them.
Classic McIntyre trying to get under everyone's skin.
But he might have poked the Viper once too often.
Huh. Yeah, that didn't end well for Drew.
Nope. McIntyre ends up eating a swift RKO from Orton. Cuts his rant off pretty effectively.
And there were immediate consequences for Drew running his mouth, right?
There were. That whole exchange led to McIntyre getting a match booked against Orton.
When's that happening?
It's for the Saturday night's main event special, July 12th in Atlanta.
Okay, so quick turnaround. Shows how fast things move. You talk trash to Orton, you get an RKO, and boom, you've got a match booked. Direct result of his actions.
Definitely. Okay, let's move over to the women's division now. Always a lot happening there.
For sure. Lots of moving parts this week.
Backstage again with GM Nick Aldis. He had a proposition. He suggested Charlotte Flair team up with Alexa Bliss.
Ooh, interesting pairing. Flair and Bliss.
Right. For a #1 contenders match, the Target, Damage CTRL, and the WWE Women's Tag Team titles.
Okay, so potentially shaking up the tag scene.
Charlotte seemed a little hesitant at first, which, understandable given their history maybe. But she thought about it and then agreed.
So the Queen and Bliss are teaming up.
And the match actually happened later that night, a triple threat tag. Flair and Bliss versus B-Fab and Mitchin.
Okay.
And Damage CTRL, represented by Alba Fire and Piper Niven.
Got it. So how did the new team do?
They won. Alexa Bliss got the pin on Alba Fire after hitting the Twisted Bliss. So Flair and Bliss are now the #1 contenders.
Wow. Okay, that immediately changes the whole tag division picture. You take two huge stars like Flair and Bliss, mostly known for singles runs recently, put them together.
Instant contenders.
Exactly. All this is clearly trying to inject some serious star power into that division. It makes things really interesting. Puts a huge target on their backs right away. Bold move.
Then later in the show, we had Tiffany Stratton come out.
Tiffy time.
Yep. She was there to talk about her SummerSlam match against Jade Cargill. But then, surprise.
What did she do?
She says she also wants to defend her title at WWE Evolution 2. And she issues a challenge to Trish Stratus.
Whoa. Okay, challenging a legend like Trish. Bold.
Super bold. And even more surprising, Trish Stratus actually came out, live.
No way.
Accepted the challenge. And then they got into it, verbally. Pretty fiery exchange right there in the ring.
Okay, so Stratton vs. Stratus is official for Evolution 2. That's huge news.
Huge. But the drama wasn't over yet for Trish. Backstage,
Uh-oh.
Trish runs into Jade Cargill, And Jade, she doesn't miss a beat, reminds Trish that she has the title shot at SummerSlam.
Right, setting up a potential clash depending on who wins at Evolution.
And Jade says, pretty ominously, if Trish wins at Evolution, she will see her at SummerSlam.
Okay, layers upon layers here.
And just as that tension is peaking, Naomi walks by and just cracked Jade with a suitcase.
What? Naomi just attacked Jade with a suitcase out of nowhere.
Completely out of nowhere. Then GM Nick Aldis shows up. Jade is furious, obviously wants a piece of Naomi.
I bet.
And Aldis, he seemed maybe a bit reserved, but definitely open to the idea. Sort of hinted that maybe that fight could happen.
Man, that's fascinating. Naomi just injecting herself into that situation like that, it just throws everything into chaos.
It really does.
It makes it feel less like, planned storylines and more like these real heated rivalries just boiling over. And Aldis seeming open to letting them fight it out. That suggests he's willing to let that chaos drive the bus a little bit. Creates really compelling TV, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Oh, and quick side note, we also saw a commercial spot for Julia.
Yeah, the newcomer.
Looked really intense, talking about blue flames, no mercy, no doubt, no fear. Definitely positioning her as a major threat down the line.
Someone to keep a very close eye on, for sure.
Okay, back to the backstage area one more time. GM Nick Aldis again. This time he's gathered the entire tag team division.
The whole division. Okay, what's up?
Calls it a crisis meeting. But there's one notable absence. One group missing.
Let me guess. The Wyatt Six.
You got it. The Wyatt Six weren't there, which felt ominous.
Definitely adds to their whole mystique. They operate outside the rules.
So Aldis announces this special decision, a really unique match format, an 8-man tag. But here's the twist. Only one member from 4 different tag teams would compete together against the Wyatt Six.
Wow. So like a coalition team formed on the spot to try and stop them.
Exactly. Seems like a desperate measure to try and contain this faction that's causing so much chaos.
So who was on the coalition team and how did it go?
The team was Berto, Chris Sabin, Johnny Gargano, and Montez Ford. A mix of different styles and teams.
Interesting lineup. But against the full force of the Wyatt Six.
Yeah, the Wyatt Six fielded Dexter Loomis, Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, and Uncle Howdy. And the result was pretty decisive.
Let me guess. Wyatt Six won.
They did. Eric Rowan got the pin on Chris Sabin after hitting an Iron Claw slam.
They just seem unstoppable, don't they? Like this force of nature disrupting everything. It's almost like watching like a horror movie villain, is just going to keep coming back no matter what they throw at them.
That's a good comparison. It's unsettling for everyone else, but kind of captivating to watch.
Yeah. What do you think their long-term game is here? This constant dominance, this unsettling presence, where's it leading?
That unpredictability is their biggest strength, isn't it? Makes you really wonder what's coming next. We also had another tag match earlier, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Andrade and Riff Phoenix got a win over Faxium. That's Axiom and Nathan Frazier. Andrade hit the message for the pin.
Okay. Good, solid win for Andrade and Phoenix. Shows some established teams are still getting it done.
Yep. And one last bit from backstage, setting up something for next week.
Go on.
Damian Priest caught up with Aleister Black. Priest was trying to explain R-Truth's recent behavior. You know how Truth can be.
Yeah, a little unpredictable.
And Priest revealed that a match is set for next week, R-Truth versus Aleister Black.
Ooh, okay. Truth versus Black. That's an intriguing clash of personalities and styles for sure. Something to look forward to.
Definitely. So, man, when you step back and look at this one episode, wow.
Yeah, a lot happened.
Seriously. From the Bloodline chaos kicking off before the show even started, the new member, the triple powerbomb.
Right, the whole dynamic shifting there.
Then you've got Orton basically setting this epic challenge for Cody Rhodes involving Cena and WrestleMania.
Huge long-term implications there.
Plus the women's division, new tag contenders, legends being challenged, surprise attacks with luggage.
Total chaos in the best way possible.
And the whole Wyatt Six situation looming over the tag division. This one, SmackDown really laid down a lot of groundwork, didn't it? What does it all mean for the bigger WWE picture?
Well, it raises a really interesting question, I think. WWE is known for its carefully planned stories, right? These long narratives.
Sure.
But then you get these moments, the pre-show ambush, Naomi with the suitcase, these moments that feel genuinely chaotic, unpredictable.
Yeah, they feel almost real or off script, even if they're not.
Exactly. So the question is, how much do those moments actually shape the long-term direction? Are they just planned sparks to ignite something? Or do they sometimes represent genuine organic shifts where maybe the creative has to pivot based on reactions or just spontaneous combustion? How much does the chaos truly steer the ship?
That's a great point. Are they plot devices or are they moments that genuinely change the plot? Something definitely worth thinking about as all these stories keep twisting and turning.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into a really packed Friday Night SmackDown. We hope you feel thoroughly informed and ready for whatever WWE throws at us next.
Always something brewing.
Always. Until next time, keep digging.